Ian Westwood completed his first 100 of the season, but his Warwickshire side found Middlesex to be a very tough nut to crack on the penultimate day of the LV County Championship match between the two sides in Uxbridge. Westwood began the day on 89 out of his side's 178 for 2, which put them 224 runs behind, and he was quickly into the 90s. But he also lost his partner Jim Trouter before he'd had chance to add to his overnight score of 60. He edged a beauty from Gareth Berg behind. That ended a third wicket partnership of 161, but Westwood was not to be denied. 35 minutes into the morning, he pushed a delivery from Tim Murtagh through extra cover to get the runs he needed for his superb century. It was the 11th of his career and had come off 270 deliveries after 5¼ hours at the crease. In that time he'd struck 11 fours. He and Darren Maddy then took the total to 209 before Westwood's long vigil was ended by Murtagh, who found the edge of his bat to allow David Malan the chance to complete the catch. Westwood was gone for 111. So Middlesex would have been overjoyed with their start. Westwood and Troughton had been threatening to back Warwickshire into a good position, but no longer. Nor could Maddy contribute too much. On 21, he cut a ball from Stephen Crook but couldn't get over it and fed Berg a catch. Warwickshire have made a habit from such positions this season of batting for a long time to add what pressure they can on their opponents, but this time Middlesex were able to grab important wickets at regular intervals. Tim Ambrose and Ricky Clark tried to put a stop to that either side of lunch. At 271 for 5 and going along slowly, Warwickshire were still handily placed in response to Middlesex's 402, but then the home side took over once Ambrose nicked Murtagh to Milan on 40. 5 runs later, Clark was held by a sprawling Ollie Rayner off the bowling of Neil Dexter, and with a total on 290, Jitan Patel gave Dexter his second wicket with a regulation edge. The chances of getting ahead were rapidly disappearing for Warwickshire, although in Chris Wokes they did have a number 8 who has scored 200s in his last 2 matches. But this time he was left stranded before he really got going, as Chris Wright was bowled by Berg, and Boyd Rankin hit a ball from Rayner down the throat of Milan at long off. Warwickshire were all out for 324, giving Middlesex a lead of 78 on first innings. The Bears used up 135 overs in making that 324. Coming out for a second time after tea, Middlesex now wanted to add to that lead quickly, but without allowing their opponents back in. That's something Warwickshire had done with Somerset recently to lose a game from a better position than Middlesex found themselves in this contest. Joe Denley and Chris Rogers were bright at the opening of their innings as they added 24 runs in 5 overs. That positive approach also led to the dismissal of Denley, who edged an attempt to pull off Wright to give Ambrose his 6th catch of the match. And that brought Dexter to the crease. The club's official captain has had personal problems, and as a consequence a loss of form followed, which saw him hand over the captaincy reins to Rogers earlier in the season. Dexter hasn't played 4-day cricket since, but looked pleased to be back. He lost the man who replaced him at the helm, Rogers, as Maddy got a ball to wobble back into his pads. But Dexter and Milan then added 42 for the 3rd wicket towards the end of the day to keep their side in the box seat. Milan, a centurion in the first innings, would have been bitterly disappointed to edge Patel to Will Porterfield half an hour before the close. But Dexter and Owen Morgan then blocked out the remaining overs to take their side onto 104 for 3 by the end of the day. If the weather holds, we now have a fascinating final day with Middlesex holding the advantage of 182 runs and in a position to boss the final day.